Well, it's another week. Got on fairly well this week. We did, it's over a few days, but last weekend we went off to England to visit Elizabeth, so we were in Yorkshire. Very, very nice. But we're back now. It's Good Friday, sun's shining. It's still, we had quite a heavy snowfall yesterday morning, but it's not sure what it wants to do. It's kind of springtime, a bit of snow, a bit of sun. Right now it's not too bad. Anyhow, let's have a look. What's happened is that the bow is now in position. So we've got the knee and stem joined into the shear clamp and the chine lock. The boat's upside down. I always have to think which one's the shear clamp, which one's the chine lock. Anyhow, the shear clamp and the chine lock, they're joined in there. I cut in some joints here where the chine log joins into the stem and knee. All epoxied in place. Nice lot of epoxy. Got the watertight, what will be a watertight bulkhead in position. Still needs a bit of sealing up there. But that's all in place. I've got bronze screws. I've got 6 bronze screws where the chine log joins the front there. Bronze screws all around in the chine log where it goes into the stations, various. So that's all in position. Sounding pretty solid. I've milled the wood for the second layer. At least I've milled almost all of it. So that's ready to go. So I'll be on to that tomorrow, I think. And midships here, if I can squeeze past, because there isn't much room. Midships here, I've started putting in the floor beams. I think I told you a few times there were 4 to go in. But what's happened is I discovered I forgot one, so there are actually 5 to go in. As it stands, I've got 2 in position, and I've put them in carefully. I've made sure, you do everything carefully, don't you? But I've made sure that the centre line of the floor beam is above the centre line of the boat. Obviously, either side of the centre line is the same distance. That's the point of the centre line. So that has pulled here where it was a little bit out of shape. It's pulled it back into shape much better. So I'm really pleased with that. I've just cut the angles, screwed and epoxied them in place at the moment. The screws will be coming out again later. They're just to hold it while it dries. So I've got that one there in position and this one here in position. You see those 2. This one's coming next. What we'll do is now we'll cut soon and we'll show you a sequence of fitting this one from the start of measuring it out, cutting it and putting it in. I'll put a sequence of that together and then once the camera's off I'll start on the next one here. Shops are shut today, it's Good Friday, but tomorrow I need to buy 1 more of these 9x9 pieces so I can get that one in there. I've got the piece there that's long enough for that extra one that I forgot that I mentioned earlier. So I'll get those in tomorrow, at least the one that I still need to buy in tomorrow. And I shall start putting the second layer around the longitudinal members here. And that will be very interesting because that brings this out to its full dimension. And then I'll be able to see exactly what I need to plane off of these. All of these will need planing up to shape. So then it would be a case of then starting to shape the boat up to its final fair shape, which is exciting stuff, getting on quite well. So as I say, a nice long weekend, see how much of it I can use. If I can get as much as possible of this second layer on, so that after that we're starting to shape her up, that would be good stuff. And then we'll be thinking about ordering a big delivery of 10mm plywood. Good, I think we'll leave that there. Yeah, it's as easy as that. And while you were watching that, I got round and I've got the rest of the floor beams up and in position. So perhaps Hazel, if you'd like to just scan through, you see all the floor beams now in position from the bulkhead 3 that goes through to the forepeak, all the way up to bulkhead 9, that's the engine room. Floor beams in there, pretty much regularly spaced out, all in position. That's looking good. And we're getting to be, I say, quite a solid structure. Today's Easter Sunday. Happy Easter, everyone. Yesterday it snowed. You saw the sequence. I don't want to harp on about the weather too much, but it snowed again. It's still white out there. There's snow laying around today. So I haven't managed to get the second layer on these pieces. It's been too cold for gluing. Tomorrow's supposed to be warmer. Hopefully I'll get them on then. And the forecast after that is marvellous. It's supposed to, be switching on summer after that. It's supposed to be 14, 15, up to 20 degrees in the next 10 days or so. So hopefully that's the end of winter. That would be good. What we'll do now is we'll go for a little wander and do a tooltip. Cut. Yeah, so my tooltip this week is a bit different. It's something a bit more generic, and it's clamps. Basically speaking, if you're going to build yourself a boat, you need clamps. That's clear enough. And so I've got together a collection of most of my clamps. We'll see what we've got here. Over the years, I've collected a few. I think I've got, these are cheap ones from the do-it-yourself centre. For a while, they always had these by the checkout, and when I was wandering through, they had them in bundles of 2, I think, by the checkout for €3 or something. And when I was going through, I used to pick up 2 every time I went through, or most times I went through, at least often. So I've got 15 of those. They're fine, small clamps. Actually, these are the clamps that I use the most. Got 15 of those. And these ones here are a bit longer, you'll see. They're also cheap ones, but as you can tell, they're open a bit further up. I've got 4 of those, also cheap do-it-yourself centre clamps. I've got these spring clamps that I like quite a lot. These are the Wolfcraft ones. Got 7 of them, and these are another make. I think these open a bit further, don't they? Yeah, a little bit. 6 of those, 7 of them, as I said. I've got only two of these slightly bigger, heftier clamps. These are useful if you need to get a bit of force on it. You can get more torque on that grip than you can on these little grips. But I've only got 2 of them, but I certainly use them quite a bit. And I've got 2 of these big puppies. Which go out a fair way. And these are the biggest clamps that I've got at the moment. There are bigger ones on sale, obviously. But I was using one of these on the floor beams yesterday. One of my floor beams, so clearly they're good for clamping, but also one of the floor beams wasn't quite sitting true. It was twisted a bit, so I could clamp that onto the floor beam, and then you got that as a lever. I can lever it round true before I put the screw through to hold it in place. So they're quite handy things. Good. And then I've also got a couple of small G or C clamps, which are ancient, but they also get used. And if all else fails, then we're down to mole grips or vice grips or whatever you want to call them. And that's what I've got. So, my collection, remember, it's 15 of them, 7 of them's 22, 6 of them's 28, 4 of them's 32, 2 of them 34, 2 of them 36, plus my vice grips if I need. So I've got 36 clamps, and it's not enough. You know, there are occasions when I'm restricted in progress because I haven't got enough clamps. So now my tip to you is to collect clamps. You need loads of them. If you're going to do a project like this, you need loads. Too many, of course, is possible, but it's hard to imagine. So if you see them on sale anywhere, if you're in a car boot sale or a yard sale or a flea market or whatever they have in your part of the world, if you see clamps on sale and they don't want much for them, buy them. You will need them. Now you can't. Too many clamps is rather hard to imagine, as I say. Or if you're in some kind of do-it-yourself shop and they're selling them off cheap, pick them up, buy them. These spring clamps are reasonably priced. You can pick them up, 1 or 2 at a time when you're going through and get yourself a collection together. So that's my tool tip for this time. Clamps. Get as many as you can. Cut.
Riches in the sunset, standing at the sea. Tell me where you're going so decisively. What's your destination? Tell me where you're bound. We can move together where adventures abound. Running free before the breeze. Are there many days such as these?